How many of you guys recall the classic TV show Leave It to Beaver? And there was a character on that show, I think it was played by Ken Osmond, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, he played Eddie Haskell. And on this show, he was a really mischievous character, right? He lived in the moment for starting things and, you know, and all of the things that, you know, you see people do in childhood, all of those friends that you had that you couldn't stand, and, you know, the people who would pitch you up against your other friends, and always looking to get into something, always looking to start trouble and incite things, right? Later on in that series, you know, maybe I think they tried to bring it back, and, you know, there was a Eddie Haskell Jr. And this same kid, you know, he was just like his dad. You know, he was a bullshitter. He was always looking to start trouble and, you know, similar characteristics. So I'm trying to show you that these types of people who are weasel-faced dogs, but they're actually in your workplaces, they're wardens of sorts. They're like the wardens of mischief in your workplace. Because they only come to work, not necessarily to make a paycheck, but they come to work, you know, to kiss ass to the bosses, throw you under the bus, make you look bad, try to make themselves look good, try to get all of the glory, you know, for little trinkets and things. But really, it's their nature. And that's what I'm getting to in this video. You know, there are people that you have to deal with who will not stop the madness. And you wonder in your mind, you say, like, is this ever going to stop? You know, are these people real? But they are real. And the reason why they do the types of things that they do, just like the characters in the show, on the show, is that because they have a heart of mischief. Started in childhood, you know, and you've seen these kids in childhood. They were the ones who spread the rumors, you know. They were the ones who try to isolate other children that they may have been jealous of, or try to pick fights and bully other kids and stuff like that. You know, go back and reference that show, guys. I don't know if you've ever seen it. You know, I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm sure it's on one of these classic channels. And if you look at this character, he's an asshole, really. Like, you probably couldn't stomach this guy, right? If he were your friend, or he wouldn't be your friend. And so I always knew it was Hollywood because, you know, Wally Cleaver, you know, was this guy's friend, and Wally seemed to have good qualities. So you just wonder how this worked, you know. Maybe it was a duality thing or something. I don't know. But this Eddie Haskell guy, you know, he was a real asshole. A lot like the people in your workspaces. Now, I'm going to get into several types of people that you will encounter at your workplace who do the lowest things for, you know, because there's something mentally wrong. And that's what this is the main point that I want to make today in this discussion about the psychological problems that these mischievous people have in your workspaces. Some of them may get you close to being fired. Some of them may actually get you fired. Many of you have stories where you probably lost a job and you don't know what happened, right? You can't put your finger on who did you in. That person was standing right next to you, smiling. The weasels, right? But one of these particular types of people in the workplace will be this guy, right? Clearly, they're probably, if you're a guy, they're probably your friend, and they're probably coming, you know, to you with the knife behind their back, and they're always looking to throw you under the bus. And what do I mean by that? I mean, in just any situation they can. If there's a woman at the job who favors you, maybe you're friends with that woman, they will try to talk about you. They will try to say you're this or you're that, when they are everything, and they project because they're everything that they say you are. Right? So let's say I don't know what you do for a living, but we'll use something more practical here. Like, you know, a lot of times I talk about office situations. So I'll just talk about everyday, you know, humdrum, you know, life situations. But on your job, you know, you could be doing anything on your job, and this person will be that person who will literally go behind you, you know, and try to make it appear as if they did your job. You know, you could do a great job, and then they'll come behind you and they'll try to do a little bit, and then they'll go to your boss and they'll say, oh yeah, I had to fix things because so-and-so messed something up. And they'll just keep doing this and doing this and doing this. Now, because your boss is a master planner, it doesn't really matter to them if you're doing your job or not. This is all part of the game, right? You know, they'll disseminate that information, that propaganda around the workplace about your character or your work ethic or something, right? And they'll always ask you, I've spoken in other videos about this, but they'll always ask you if you're busy today, and you guys work at the same place. They do the same job you do or something, but they're consistently worrying about you and what you're doing and if you're fulfilling your task for the day, even though they're not your boss, they don't have any authority, but it's all for the purpose of trying to make you look bad, right? And so you'll know these signs when they'll go and do some mischievous thing where they'll try to throw you under the bus in some situation, or maybe they themselves get in trouble and they still bring your name up and try to throw you under the bus. You have nothing to do with their situation, but because they're crazy, they will put your name in something, and you'll know it. The hallmarks will be they'll come up to you at some, later time or something, and they'll say, hey, did someone talk to you about blah, blah, blah? Because they're trying to see how much information you have based on what they did and if you can point it back to them. They're fucking weasels. I talk about weasel-faced dogs, guys, because they're low down. And they're weasels because they live for mischief. They live for something, right? And really, when you go back into their childhoods, it really was something that started in childhood because maybe, they got... maybe they had parents, narcissistic parents, who played this game and, pit you up against your siblings or something. And this is how they got their minds cultivated with this bullshit and this mischievous nature. And some people are born like this, where they're just bad seeds in the world, right? They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to grow up and be those people you have to knock out or something. So, these people are really weasel-faced in everything that they do. And they'll come in your face and smile and act like they're your best friends, and they'll always want to know about what things you're doing in your life, or, just any little thing, right? Back in college, I used to have this guy who used to live in a couple of doors down, had an apartment a couple of doors down. He used to always come and hang out with us and everything. He would always try to see what we were doing on the weekends. Hey, man, what y'all doing? What's going on over there, right? Because, see, the thing he was trying to do was, I think he had a live-in girlfriend or something at the time, and he was trying to figure out how he could, use our apartment for some extra curricular activities. He maybe had some other girls or something, and he was trying to sneak them over, so he would try to be our friends and then, bring those girls over there. But we never let that happen. We always saw him for who he was. He was a fucking weasel. Never trusted the guy. And these are the guys and people, and sometimes they're women too. They're in your workplaces. That person, like I said, who will try to slight you in some type of way, and if you correct them, or if you show some type of assertion, maybe they couldn't handle it because they didn't have the mental scruples to compete or stay on your level, or argue with you or something. And you shouldn't argue with these people, but they would do that, and then they'll go back to some boss or some authority, and they'll say, oh, you cursed them out, or you threaten their life, or they'll have some kind of extreme thing that didn't even happen. They'll have imaginary scenarios that they form in their head, and that's why they're dangerous. They're weasel-faced dogs, folks. So you have to avoid these types of people in your workplace. They're not good for anything. They don't do their work, and they'll leave all the job to you, and then, like I said, if something comes back to them, you will immediately be fingered or collared for something that you have nothing to do with. But you have to be careful, And they come in various forms, and the things that they do, the various behaviors that they show, right, in life. These weasel-faced people, The wardens of mischief at your workplace. The people looking to do you in consistently. And I keep saying that because I want to drive that point home for you guys, right? The actions that these people are taking are going to probably affect you in ways that, you're going to be stressed out. And the name of the game is not working in an environment that's going to put you in a stressful situation and leave you in these scenarios. But these people will always be concerned about what you're doing for the purpose of trying to derail you somehow. And by the good graces, most of you good people will find yourselves consistently landing on your feet whenever these people try to play these games and hurt you. You'll consistently land on your feet. Okay? Now, another character, a weasel-faced dog, Could be a boss or could be someone with some type of authority. And, you know, they're dangerous too because they have authority. So they're going to be listened to if there's some type of discussion that may put you as a regular worker in the situation. And what would these people do? They'll do anything to undermine you on the job, right? I spoke about this in the previous video, how they may try to sabotage something at work, you know. If you driving work vehicles, they may try to, you know, put something in your work vehicle. They may have the flu or something. They may take their germs and wipe them all over something just so you can get sick. I mean, they're really, really sick like that, where they're trying to harm you in a way that's almost like severely toxic. You know, if you leave your work keys sitting around or something on the desk in the office, they'll pick your keys up and they may throw them in the trash, or they may, you know, like I said, put those germs on your work keys. Maybe if you have children at home, maybe some of you have newborn babies or something. You'll take these germs home to your children and they'll get sick. See? So these people are really toxically harmful in a way that they have a mean, evil spirit in the things that they're doing. They're not just weasels, but they're dogs at it, right? They're weasel-faced dogs. They're wardens of mischief in these workplaces. They live for the opportunity and the opportune moments to bring you down, right? Because they have a grudge or something. Maybe because you just shine and they just hate that. They're so jealous and low nature because they themselves have mental problems. They hate themselves. They have really low self-esteem. And that affects everything that they do and who they talk to. These will be the people who, you know, they won't speak to you or something, right? And your daily, you know, come into work or something. These are the people who will go maybe 365 days in a year, right, at your workplace, and they won't speak to you at all. But maybe the next year, right, they'll come up to you and ask you some question about your family or something, a ridiculous question that just misplaced question, like, you know. And it puts you in a situation where, you know, either you can just look at them in astonishment or you could really like put them in their place. And like I said, what they'll do with that is they'll go and they'll run to some authority figure and they'll say, you know, you cursed them out or you said this or that. You know, they're mean, they're toxic. They're the type of people who will change a whole itinerary at a job just to do one person in. They're those people who have that bazooka, like I always talk about, and they're looking for you're the target and you're that fly on the wall, and they're going to blow that wall out just to get you. That means that everyone that you work with will be affected, right? If you guys have a certain type of shift, they'll change the whole shift around. They'll make everyone come in at fucking whatever that time would be. That would be insane. That doesn't even make sense to the production of the job. And the master planner bosses should have the sense to see that this doesn't work well for the company, but they're stupid too, see? So they let the game be played. It's all an atmosphere of toxicity that these people function in. There's those other people who hold these grudges. They're so petty and jealous, and you look at them and you literally see little children. I used to work a job in the office, and I had grown men in this office that I used to just I had to just prey on it because I would want to karate kick one of them or something. They would literally do stupid stuff and try to undermine you out of jealousy, right? Everything they do is petty and low nature. Every single thing they do, folks. Right? Forget the job. They only come to work just for the games, just to create mischief and havoc. Right? Just to pit this person against that person or create some type of confusion because they live for that. Right? You know? You drop shit on the floor and they kick it around in a circle. I always say that. This is what they do. You know, for the really empathic people, right? You'll see these people and they will register with you and they'll appear to you as very strange, right? You know, they're you know, you can feel their lower natures. You can look at them, right? They're always stalking, right? You could be somewhere eating your lunch or something. They'll always be like somewhere around the corner watching you. You'll look up and there could be a crowd of people in front of you, but you'll see them because they're standing somewhere strategically just so they can watch you, just for the purpose of looking at you. They're obsessed with you. So you have to be careful, folks, for these weasel-faced dogs. I love bad behavior, folks. But I love people who are smart enough to avoid the weasel-faced dogs, the wardens of mischief in your workplace. These types of characters that will get you fired. Be careful. Like the videos and share them, folks. You guys have a great day. And we'll be talking soon in this series about the weasel-faced dogs. I'll follow this up with a part 4 and get deeper in detail with this thing. But for now, steer clear of these people and try to be safe on your jobs. Y'all take care.